Hey everybody, it's VP from Metaverse News 1 here, and we are doing something different today. I have something I really want to show you. Today, we are going over a different game. It's not going to be Illuvium today. It's going to be another game that I am every bit as high on as I am Illuvium for many reasons. I want you to stay with me on this. The game is called Cardania. It's on the Cardano blockchain. So this is not some Mickey Mouse game on a Mickey Mouse chain. This is probably, in my opinion, the top project on a top 10 blockchain. A blockchain that, if you did not know, has a lot of really great games coming down the pipe. But because it's on the Cardano blockchain, every NFT you buy is a fraction of the price that you would be paying on the Ethereum chain, which means you could become a big fish in a small pond instantly. And in the play-to-earn gaming world, that's a really big deal. So I hope at this point I have your attention. Now, the earlier you get in this game, obviously the better. None of these games are actually out yet. But once they are, the price of everything is probably going to go up. And there are fully playable aspects of this game scheduled to come out right around the middle of 2023, which for a play-to-earn game is pretty early. So if you want to get positioned into this game, you're going to want to get positioned now. And this is why I'm bringing this content to you sooner than later. Now, if you like what I'm doing, we're going to have a lot more Illuvium footage and a lot of Cardania footage on this channel. So subscribe, hit the bell, don't miss anything. But let me give you a quick overview of Cardania, and then we're going to really get into the good stuff here. So Cardania is going to be many games in one, as far as we know. And this is going to be kind of like Illuvium. It's not going to be one game. It's going to be a bunch, and a lot of them aren't even conceptualized yet, right? So it's going to be a land game. Not quite like what Illuvium Zero is doing. It's going to be a bit different. We'll take a look at it pretty soon here. It's going to be a card game also, which I'm pretty excited for. The card game is going to kind of bleed over into the land game too. So if you have one NFT, it usually plays well in more than just one game, which is really great too. They're looking at a first-person shooter down the line. The land game and the card game should be coming out first, but a first-person shooter is in the works from what I understand. And the cool thing about the Cardano blockchain is a lot of these projects get along with each other, and you can use certain NFTs in one game in another game as well. So if you have a strong collection of Cardano NFTs for one game, you're actually set up pretty good for other games too, because a lot of them partner with each other. I'm going to show you some examples of this as well. Now, before I get to that, let's talk about the staking really quick, because I think this is particularly exciting. So if you didn't know, on the Cardano blockchain, we have our own staking pools, individually run staking pools, where you can get right about 4 to 5% every year, and your ADA tokens never leave your wallet. It's something to do with the UTXO system that they run, similar to the way Bitcoin does it. I'm not techie enough to really know how that works, but that's the reason why you can do this and still keep your ADA in your wallet. It's really great, but a lot of these pools don't just give you staking returns. A lot of them give you more. And Cardania's staking pool not only performs really well. You know, some of the staking pools underperform and don't quite give you 4 to 5%, but their pool not only performs, but they give you so many in-game assets based on what you are staking and based on what you have already bought. You get free in-game assets all the way up until the game launches. And then after that, you probably still get them. So over time, you are sitting there like a king before the game even releases. Now, I love Illuvium. Love it. But to be in a position like that in Illuvium would probably cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah, in Cardania, far less. And we're going to do the math on this too, to show you just how cheap this is. So stay with me to the end here, and I'll show you everything. But let's go ahead and get to the overall vibe of the game real quick, so you can kind of see what we're dealing with here. And I'll go into the individual portions of the game and what those NFTs do and what they cost. And then we'll kind of wrap it up with the staking part here. So let's go. Okay, so this is going to be mission control. This is Cardania.com. Really tells you everything you need to know. All the stuff that's going on, kind of see the artwork and the overall vibe it tries to give you. So much cool stuff. We're going to talk about these landforms. We're going to talk about the cards. And you're going to see what you probably want to do if you're really interested is go to the Discord. They will answer any questions you have. Now, this Twitch link is very interesting. We'll talk about that towards the end as well. The Nexus is once you buy your NFTs, this is kind of mission control for all the stuff you have, all the things you can do. It's totally built out, very, very functional on top of that. So I'll give you the link to Cardania.com. They have their own version of a white paper called a rad paper, so you're going to see that as well. But I just want to show you this first because this is going to be one of your main places where you start and get particular overviews of the game that I'm not going to be able to give you myself. This is their native token, by the way. Pretty cool, huh? But let's get into some of the NFTs. Let's get into some of the good stuff here. Let's start with these right here. These are called terraforms, and they're going to have all these different aspects to them. So before we get there, let me just do a quick comparison here. I'm not saying anything bad about Illuvium. We're just making a comparison here. Watch this. I'm going to go over to Token Trove, which a lot of you who play Illuvium are familiar with, and let's sort Illuvium land by price. See what the cheapest tier 1 land is. 0.44 ETH. Okay. It's actually not bad. So let me go ahead and run the numbers here. So I'm shooting this on February 10th, 2023. And as of today, the ETH price was at right around $1,517. So let's multiply that by 0.44. And in United States dollars, the lowest terraform on the board is going to cost you about this much. Just for comparison's sake. Now let's move over here. Now I'm going to give you this link down below too. This is my favorite place to go to see all the Cardano NFTs, and you can sort them by different things. So right now we're just going to do a very rough sort and go by price. Now they're going to be different colors. This is a grassland, this is volcano land, this is rocky land, and these are the most common landforms in the game, so they're usually going to be on the smaller scale here. But look at the floor. 88 Cardano, 88 ADA for the cheapest one. That's still going to have some stuff on it that you can really use, which is nice. Even the lower tier ones are quite useful, I've come to find out. So let's do the math there. So remember, for one tier 1 Illuvium plot, we're going to take 88, and the current price of ADA today is right around 0.36. So that is what you're looking at to become a landholder in a very promising game on a large chain. So not only is the cost of entry low, but for this price, you can get a lot of these terraforms. Instead of being a beggar in one game, you can become set up really well in another game. And I think that is very appealing. Now, when you purchase these terraforms, you are getting all of the things that come on the land, and those things over time are going to earn you in-game assets. So let's just take this one right here. So you got the Prismaleaf Forest. That is actually the rarest trees in the game, so you're going to get certain assets there. Power level is very low. That's why this is cheap. But with the power level, you're going to earn in-game tokens. Their in-game token is called the RAD token. You're going to earn that every 5 days as well. We'll talk more about that, but the higher this is, the more multiplier of those tokens you're going to earn. Quantum Flux is how much energy you get. You're going to need energy in the game too. It has minerals like copper, which you're also going to need, lithoglyphs. All these things are useful, and you will be earning them. And if you buy before the game releases, you will be earning them before the game releases. So you're going to be really, really well set up once it does. And then because this is a volcanic land, you're even getting a particular NFT for that as well. So even though I don't know exactly how the land game is going to play out, very few people do, This is the gist of what you'll at least be getting in the meantime. But I want you to remember too, remember what I said before, these terraforms don't just give you clout and positioning and the potential to make money in just the land game. This is also going to transcend probably over to the card game, probably over to the first-person shooter, and in the staking pool. Don't forget that part. We're going to see all of this throughout the duration of this video. But this is really nice. Let's say you want certain water NFTs. You can also sort by that too. Let's say you want Toxic Lake. It'll sort them for you, and this will show the floor on terraforms for the Toxic Lake if you need that particular NFT. You know, the top mineral in the game is Cardanium. Sort by that, and you can see the floor on this one as well. You know, that's a primo land if you can get Cardanium. And you can get it pretty cheap. I mean, how much does it normally cost to have land in any play-to-earn game, right? I mean, for a prestigious piece of land, compare that to what it normally costs elsewhere. You know, that's one of the things I really love, not just about this game, but about the Cardano ecosystem overall. But let's go ahead and turn it over to my personal favorite aspect of this entire play-to-earn ecosystem, and that's going to be the card game. Now, card games are very popular. The problem is a lot of people are priced out from the jump. Let's go take a look at Splinterlands here on OpenSea. I've already done the sorting for you. Splinterlands, very popular game, decent artwork. I do think Cardania's is quite a ways better. I think you'll see the difference on that really soon. But look, just for a low-level card, 1.3 ETH, you know, what is that, about $2,000 for a card? And you're going to need a deck. And then once you get past there, you're talking 10 ETH for some of these better cards. Now, I know you can negotiate for some of these ones down here. But if you just want to buy one straight away, it's going to be a lot. I mean, who can afford a deck of these cards right now? You know, maybe there's something I'm not seeing here, but when I go to try and buy cards for Splinterlands, this is what I see. And I can't afford this. You know, 10 ETH for a decent card. Now, let's compare this to the card game on Cardania. So I'm at a place called the JPEG Store, jpg.store. And this is the #1 place where us on the Cardano chain go and buy our NFTs. So you are in the first edition cards. Remember, these are first edition. So like many first editions, these are, you know, down the road, these are probably going to be worth a lot more. But look at the floor. 16 ADA. Again. Compare that to $2,000. Now, I don't know if that's a fair comparison or not, like I said, but it's pretty big, right? And there's different factions, and you can tell that by the color. The grays are neutrals. You know, everybody's going to have some of those. But you actually get to choose which faction you want to play. You have the fungus faction, you have the imperators, which are like kind of the law and order, you have spacers, which are like the gangsters, techno mages, which are techno mages, and the void, which is kind of the dark, you know, creepy faction, and then custodians, which is the musical faction, and you get to decide how you want to put your deck together. And you can put a really nice deck together fairly cheaply just by going here. Let's just sort it by faction. Let's say I want to do those techno mages, which are a very popular faction, by the way. Got a lot of cool things going on here. And then you can just pick the cards you want and take a look at them. Now, we don't know exactly what these cards do yet, but we have a pretty good idea of what their attributes are. And we have something called the Cardania Codex. And I'll link this down below as well, to where you can go by faction. And you can see what every single one of those cards do just by clicking on them. You know, information is key when you're doing stuff like this. And when you're early like we are, we don't always have all the information we need, but they really do a good job of giving you as much as they possibly can. But this card game is going to be hot. You're going to see a lot of material coming out of this channel talking about the inner workings of the game and these individual cards on this channel. Now you'll see actual card packs that you can buy, but those are going to be like north of 200 ADA. Honestly, if I was getting started, I would just buy individual cards and put together exactly the team that I want to put together. But again, you have the luxury and the option to go in and cherry pick exactly the lineup you're looking for and put together a pretty sick deck. And again, word is that these cards are going to play in the land game as well. Now, I said I would talk about staking because that is one of the huge bonuses of this. Not just getting NFTs for cheap and being well set up. You're going to get really set up if you do the staking part right. And I know some of you coming over from the Illuvium camp are probably not familiar with the way we stake over here, but it's a pretty easy learning curve, I think. The wallets are like stupid easy to follow. And we have these things called epics on the Cardano blockchain, similar to other blockchains too, but epics are every 5 days. So every 5 days, I get to go in and harvest all of the cool stuff that I receive simply by staking on this pool and by having those terraforms in my wallet. So let's go see what that looks like real quick. Let's go back to that Nexus I was telling you about. So you can do so much just from here. I'm going to go to Harvest Resources. And here we are. So simply because I chose to stake in this pool as opposed to a different pool, I'm getting this much of their native RAD token. And I get right around that much every 5 days. I get money for nothing. So you can see some of my landforms there. But when I go to harvest, here's what I really want to show you. Oh, and if you buy one of these Founders cards, which are cheap, you get a bonus on top of all this. And this Nexus is reading everything in my Cardano wallet. So it already knows. It's so easy. Watch this. So select all. It's pretty much already selected all. And I'm getting all of this is the stuff I told you you're getting with the terraforms, depending on what you have. And you can see how much of it I'm getting. Goes straight into my wallet. Now, I know you don't quite know what all these things are, but they will have value in the game. And I'm going to be set up really nice. On top of that, you know how I told you how a lot of the play-to-earn games on Cardano, a lot of the projects partner with each other. So Cardania has already partnered with these 3 games here. Now, these 2 I don't do much with, but I am earning their token every 5 days. So I can just simply turn those tokens in for more ADA or for United States dollars down the road. I mean, however I want to do it, right? This one right here, the Earth token, is from a voxelized project called Unbound Earth that looks like it does have a little bit of promise to it. And so I'm really happy they're giving me all these tokens every 5 days as well, because I'm probably going to use those. And again, I'm earning them by not doing any work at all. Just by staking in the pool and just by having those terraforms in my wallet, you get all of this stuff. You just have to go in and harvest it like I'm doing. We are the most well-treated community in all of Web3. I stand by that. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest a little bit later. For now, if something like this didn't already convince you, let me offer you one more thing. So you might have seen, let's see, should we go back to it? Yeah, let's go back to the homepage. You might have noticed this little Twitch thing right here. What is this? So Cardania has their own Twitch stream, and we play marbles every Friday night. So if you're around, you come in, you join up, and there's only about 100, 150 of us playing at any given time, so the odds are pretty good. You have the option, or you have the chance, I should say, to win a lot of terraforms and cards and things that are relevant to the game. But on the very last game we play, you are also eligible to win an art NFT from who I think is probably like the Beeple of the Cardano blockchain. And that's going to be Aeonium Sky. So this is his newest collection. That's why it's not as much. Some of his older stuff is really, really expensive. But what he does just for us is he creates these special marbles. Let me show them to you. Give me just a second here. Okay, found it. So it doesn't have its own dedicated page, but it's on this page here. So these are the marbles that you can win. And the floor price, like I said, just for showing up and hanging out with us and playing marbles, the floor on these things is 2,500 ADA. A $900 NFT minimum. Like I said, floor price. Probably more than this if you want to sell off right away. Grand prize. Every week, just by being a part of this community. I told you, by far, the most well-treated community out there. It's not even close. And I'll bet the majority of you never knew about this. So I'm bringing it to you now. And I will continue to bring you more Cardania content as we go forward. We're going to start with the card game, and we're going to branch out as we need to branch out. Now, getting a wallet set up and getting to know the ecosystem of the Cardano blockchain is a little bit of a learning curve, but I don't learn things very easily because I have a learning disability, but I was able to pick this up pretty easy, and you have all of us there at the Discord forum to help you along the way if you need it. So all relevant links are going to be down below in the description to help you get started. And the community there is super cool and will help you out with anything you need along the way. But if you ever felt like that, play to earn games were out of your price range, and even if they were in your price range, you weren't going to be in a position to do a lot of damage in them, so it's kind of depressing. Let me tell you, that's not the case. You have the opportunity to be well positioned early in a banger of a game for a fraction of the price. And you'll get showered with NFTs along the way. I don't know what else I can tell you. There's only a few play-to-earn games out there at this stage that I really endorse and I really get behind and I really spend my own money on. Illuvium is one of them, and Cardania is another. So if you want to get on board, all the information you're going to need is down below, and I will see you down the road.